Hi everyone, this is Halak and welcome to another Java tutorial session. In my previous tutorial, we talked about, or I've discussed, packages, the keyword public and private. We also talked about package private. You remember the setup. You recall the setup. I've actually created an application form to simulate a person filling out a form, and the intent is that they're filling out to get for a SIM card. So they're requesting a SIM card. And on the other side, government workers can actually place the order for that SIM card. So that was about hiding your information, basically encapsulating implementation. In this tutorial, I will talk about polymorphism. Okay, and we'll get into a number of new concepts. Okay, but instead of adding more complexity into this application, what I want to do is I'm going to extract. Okay, so I'm going to extract this. All right, I'm going to actually copy this and create a new project because what I'm demonstrating, I don't really need this particular setup. Okay, so this is a class or a project I created. It's called Polymorphism, and here's the main. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the SIM card class again. Alright, so in here I'm just going to copy it in. And so this is the code, alright, from earlier. Okay, so this is what we have so far, right? So now what I want to do is what we want to do is say that we want to have another class when someone can request a driver's license, right? So in a driver's license, what tends to happen is that you would also have a name, right? And your name would go in there, and this piece of code would most likely be duplicated. Okay. So what we want to do is actually avoid that, and Java's mechanism, inheritance mechanism, will actually allow us to reuse some of this code, but we got to do some work, right, to actually do this. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is actually extract this. Okay, so what I want to do is extract this to a superclass. Okay, so here, superclass. Okay, we already have SIM card, so we don't want to do that. So our superclass, I'm just going to call it government card, and what I want to do is actually select anything that is not related to SIN number. See that? I'm just going to select the name because when we create our driver's license class, these will be the common elements. Okay, so refactor, and just say yes, and just ignore that. Okay, so here we have, all right, what we have here is the government class. Okay, and you notice here that this IntelliJ automatically, and Eclipse will do this as well, will automatically create, you see that? It extends it. So what we're going to do is inherit the code, all right, from government card, okay, from this class here. Okay, and you notice that everything else is, this is again just a concrete class. Now what I'm going to do is actually introduce one new term, all right, or keyword. This is abstract. Okay, so abstract basically imply that you cannot instantiate an object of type government card. Okay. We'll see this, and I'll demonstrate this as we progress in our tutorial here. Okay, so let's get back to here. All right. So now we extended it, right? And what I really want to do is show you how to why we even do this. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is actually create an abstract method. Okay. So abstract method, and you're going to see the reason why I do this. I'm going to call it create card ID. Okay, so I'm going to call it that. And you notice that there's no implementation. Okay, the intent is that the class that's going to inherit government card will override this, right? Provide its own implementation. Okay, and we'll see how why I would actually do this. All right, so notice that for our SIN card, we've actually generated a number like this. This will be our SIN number, okay? So what I want to do now is actually override that so that this particular piece of code will be in there. Okay, so bear with me, and now I will discuss, and I'm going to do this override here. Okay, so now we have this override. All right, so in here, all right, so you notice like the annotation override is right here. So what I'm going to do is actually move this code down here. All right, so I'm going to move it down. All right, in here. Okay, the intent is that when I create my driver's license class, will actually generate its ID in a different way. All right, so each card type, the SIM card, will generate this using this, and in the driver's license, generate it another way. Okay, and again, we won't. This is a constructor without any arguments. All right. So what I want to do, I'm going to jump back in here, and I'm going to create a constructor. All right. So I'm going to create a constructor. Let me just stick it with public. All right. So constructor, and then this constructor here will actually just take the name. Okay. Now again, I'm going to introduce another new concept, is the keyword this. Okay. Keyword this. And why do I do this? You notice that the parameter name, right, happens to be the same name as the instance variable. If I don't actually have this keyword this, it won't know which name I'm talking about. So this is actually a parameter, all right, being assigned to an instance variable of this object. All right, so it's referring to the name from this object. So when you create a type of card, right, which we'll talk about later, like say a SIM card, the name attached to it would be this dot name. Okay, so this is a new concept. This is something you see in a lot of books. I just want to get that out of the way. Okay. All right, so now let's go back. We have this constructor, and what we want to do is actually create a constructor for the SIM card. All right, so I'm going to create a constructor. All right, so it's for SIM card. Okay, so what I want to do is, you notice that when I did that, right, I created a constructor using the IDE. It automatically created a constructor with parameter, and it's also a name type, right? So it takes a string and it's called name. And notice it's super. Okay, this thing called super. All right, super has to be the first line in a constructor if you do have it. What the super does is that it actually calls the constructor of government card. Okay, so once you create a SIM card, you go super, it actually call this, okay, this constructor. All right, so this is our first example of code reuse. Okay, all right, so for example, okay, so now I'm going, oops, left it out. All right, so now I'm going to say print. Just want a print statement to say that we actually created a card, right? So SIM card created. All right, so let's just put in here, right? And look, if I try to move it up here, right, you see this mistake, right? So again, this can't be the super has to be the first statement in a constructor. Okay, so now we have our constructor here. Okay, so and so far I haven't really demonstrated the actual polymorphic behavior. I'm going to have to create another class called driver's license class, and since this video is getting a little bit long, I'm going to end it here, and in my next video session, tutorial session, I will continue with this example and create the driver's license card and inherit from government card, so you can see how we avoid code duplicating code. Okay, so see you next time. Take care. Bye.